So let's start by drafting an introduction. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draft the sort of introduction that as a marker I see regularly. So this is what I would call the basic form of our introduction. So starting with the task, I always start with the wording in the task to help me get the writing process underway, because otherwise you can sit there for 10 minutes going, I don't know where to start. So identify the text. How do you spell Tennessee Williams? It's really important that you know how to spell Tennessee Williams. It's the author's name. I don't need to know how to spell it because I'm not doing the exam, but you do. And some of you didn't spell it correctly in the film, and it's a small thing, but it's an important thing. Please also notice that when I name the text, that I use inverted commas around it because it's the title of the text, and I also use capital letters in the appropriate places because it's the title of the text. These are all technical accuracy things that, while wouldn't necessarily fail you, if you really forget about your technical accuracy and completely disregard it, then the essay could automatically fail. So it's important that you demonstrate to your marker that you understand the rules that apply to this formal type of writing and that you punctuate the title of the text and capitalise it correctly.
Is it okay if you call it Streetcar Named Desire, or do you have to have a Streetcar Named Desire? Will that be fine? Because it's not a very big word.
I think as long as you stick to consistent across your essay. What I also saw was people started an essay by referring to it as SND. You need, so it's an abbreviation for Streetcar Named Desire. So you need to make sure, if you're going to do something like that, it's not ideal. This is a formal piece of writing, and in formal writing, the use of abbreviations should be limited. I appreciate you're under a time constraint. It's a relatively longish title, so you may want to abbreviate it, but abbreviate Streetcar, okay, not SND, and make sure that you clarify that by at least giving it its full title to start with, and then bracketing what you're going to abbreviate it to later on, okay? But let's try and stay away from SND, or was it SCND? Right, so going back to the question. Streetcar Named Desire, penned by Tennessee Williams, is a play in which the main character, and I'm going to identify her, Blanche, because remember, I'm starting to address the task. The introduction should not be just filled with vagaries of it contains a character that's unstable. You have to start actually addressing it. Who is the character? How is she? What is the form of her instability? In which the main character, Blanche, shows signs of instability. Now, I'm using the actual wording in the task. You might think that perhaps lacks a sense of sophistication, but it doesn't, in the sense that what it does is it says to my marker, I am answering the task. So I'm ticking the box for relevance to task. Obviously, as the essay develops, I need to demonstrate a variety in terms of the language and quality expression I've got, but initially, and certainly peppered throughout, keep coming back to that same wording. So signs of instability. So again, I'm starting to be specific. The question then asks me to explain the reason. So Blanche experiences a number of traumatic life events which contribute to this instability. And this is where you don't have to then actually list what they all are, but certainly you could give a flavour of what they are. From the traumatic suicide of her husband Alan to the catastrophic rape by Stanley, Blanche endures extreme life-changing events which consequently leads to this instability. Okay? So I don't have to list all of them, but because I've planned them and I know what they are, I can certainly reference two of them. This is the bit that we see most candidates do. The playwright, now remember, I've You've got a number of vocabulary, a number of words that you can use to describe the role and function of Tennessee Williams. He's a playwright, he's an author, he also pens the text, he is the creator. So you want to use a variety of expressions to reference Tennessee Williams' role. So the playwright exposes this instability through his use of, and this is the stock sentence that we see, use of theme, motif, expressionism, character relationships, and a lovely little extended metaphor. And this is the bit where I want you to be a little bit more sophisticated in your writing. Because while that's not wrong, it's clunky, it's simplistic, it's overly simplified. So by simply demonstrating a better understanding of how these things actually work, you can actually construct a couple of sentences or a sentence that's a lot more sophisticated than that. So yes, it's good to put into your introduction the techniques that you're going to be looking at in your essay. So it should be there. So that's why I'm showing you what it looks like in its most basic form. But I would like you to try and be a little bit more sophisticated in the way that you express it. Okay, so I need to check that because obviously I've written it, and just like you, there is likely to be mistakes. I just want to have a quick look at the quality of my expression. So the playwright exposes Blanche's instability with his expressionism, which is often reinforced through insightful symbolism. This is enhanced further with a significant and profound extended metaphor captured in the title of the play. As we see the development of character relationships unfold on stage, the depth of this instability becomes apparent, and the thematic exploration of the destructive nature of desire becomes evident. So I have listed the techniques, but I've just explained them a wee bit more.